Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends Demogoblin Wave Vulture. Hello and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. Today our Marvel Legends reviews continue with this Demogoblin Build-A-Figure wave, and in front of me, have I saved the best till last? We shall find out. It is of course my most anticipated Vulture, or Marvel's Vulture as they like to make the point of saying. But this guy is someone that we have needed an update of for our classic looking Sinister 6. The Toy Biz version of this did hold up quite well, but let's be honest, we needed that Hasbro update. They always look a lot smarter and slicker these days. And yes, Adrian Toomes is definitely a character we needed in figure form, and he's looking very nice in the box. Definitely giving me those Mr. Byrne vibes with those liver spots on his head, and we also get an alternative head as well, so you can mix up the display, and in there as well is the Demogoblin head, which is looking creepy. But yeah, looking very nice. Definitely a figure we needed for our display, and you know me, massive fan of the Spider-Man Rogues Gallery, so definitely going to be finding a place for this guy on my display. So on the side of the box we're getting a very creepy old man looking Adrian Toomes. On the back we get a little write-up that reads, Adrian Toomes uses specialised flying suit to soar through the skies as the Vulture. And then as always, we get a list of all the figures in this wave we need to complete the Demogoblin Build-A-Figure. Today we're reviewing Vulture. So as I said, very much looking forward to this guy. Definitely needed this one in the display. So without further ado, let's get him open. So here we have Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture, out of packaging, looking very nice. Definitely an updated version that we have needed to complete our Hasbro original lineup of the Sinister 6. They've still got a couple of tweaks to go, but let's face it, we're nearly there. So before we look at the main attraction, which is of course Vulture, I do want to mention that we have got the Goblin, the Demogoblin Build-A-Figure head, and look how creepy that looks. Looks very nice, the paintwork, the sculpt, it is beautiful. I didn't know I needed a Demogoblin until I seen this mask, unmasked head. So you know what to do, come back to the channel, subscribe, find the playlist, as my next review, I will be reviewing this Demogoblin Build-A-Figure with you guys. But today is about Vulture. So he also comes with an interchangeable head, and I will put this on the head and show you. But this is a deep cut for any Vulture fans out there. I believe this is the Adrian Toomes. I believe he wore this in like a cartoon appearance, like an original, not the 90s cartoon, as in like a throwback cartoon, and also in some version of the comics. But it's definitely a deep cut, an Easter egg of Adrian Toomes in this sort of Vulture mask. But we all know Vulture for looking like a creepy Mr. Burns looking old man, and he sucks the life and the age out of people, and yeah, that's why he looks old and creepy there. I love the liver spots, the sinister smile, I like it. But I'll zoom in and look at that in a minute. Firstly, I want to figure out these wings. We actually get 4 pieces, so it may be a little bit more complicated than I originally believed. Let's figure it out. Okay, so I think I've figured this out. So I've already done half, obviously, but let me just show you my Vulture. So if I turn it around, you'll see that my peg holes for the wings are actually in the upper arm and lower arm. On some people's, it was actually in the shoulder joint. So I seem to have the running change Vulture where the pegs for the wings are actually in the arms, which I'm fine with. I actually think it helps with articulation. So while we're zoomed in, I'll show you that you can tell if these wings are right or left. If you closely look, and I mean closely look there on the tip, it does have a little R or Al, which shows you which way around it goes. So this one is for R. So the long wing goes in the bottom section, and the pattern, so the sculpt and the faded paint, which is decent, that is for the front. So the back, the all flat back green is there, like so. And then the top part, so there it is there. This bit has a little indent. Again, the flat green is there. And it will go in like so. So overlap over the wing. So if I zoom back out now and I move his arms out, and again, there's no pegs in the shoulder, so you can get the shoulders all the way out. You can see the faded green pattern and the wings sort of there. And because of the way the wings are now, you can actually spin it all the way around, and it doesn't get stuck. And you can also still use the double jointed elbow and the wings stay in place. So that is the reason they have done it this way, so we can still get a full range of articulation with our Vulture, which I appreciate, Hasbro. So as I said, these bits probably need to give it a little bit more oomph when I'm putting it in there. That's what she said. But yeah, that is how it's done, people. So he's looking good. So let's check out his wingspan. It is roughly about 13 inches. Probably just under 13 inches. But that is very rough, which is decent. And they're not too heavy, so it won't hinder his articulation. So if I bring in a previous Vulture, for example, this is the Ultimate Vulture. You can see how these wings are a lot more mechanical. This is from the Ultimates. That's why he's got bulbs all over him. For some reason, all the Ultimate characters have these orbs all over them. But yeah, there is your Ultimates Vulture and a Classic Vulture. And I do prefer the look of the Classic one. And you can see the difference in the concept designs for these two. Definitely still prefer the Classic, but this Ultimate one grew on me over time. But yes, this guy's definitely going to replace him in the display. So let's zoom in and show you the different head sculpts and the bit of paint detail that's actually on this figure. So here's a closer look at old Adrian Toomes, and I do really like this head sculpt. I think they've nailed the character in figure form for me. There's the liver spots there, like Mr. Burns. I like his evil sort of grey eyebrows with the reddening around his eyes, and then you can see the red of the inside of his mouth while he's got that big cheesy grin, and he looks old. And here's a closer look at their second head sculpt. So it seems to be the same Adrian Toomes head, but he's obviously not got his big cheesy grin, but it's meant to be the same guy. He's obviously wearing his helmet, which does have the lines sculpted in there. This is not his iconic look, but he definitely did wear this in the comics at some point, but I believe it originated from some sort of old school cartoon. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments if you know. But yeah, this is definitely a Marvel deep cut for the Vulture. But it still looks good. So if I zoom out and show you this guy, again, even with the helmet, you can get, well, these pieces are falling off on me, but you can get his head all the way back, and he looks really good, even like that. While I was swapping the heads as well, I also noted that his collar piece does come off. It literally just goes over the peg. So that way you can have it as just a green body. And this is basically just a simple Spider-Man book, which might not make sense for the old man Vulture, but he is meant to be skinny and scrawny. So at least it gives us a good range of articulation so we can get him in his flying poses. And I can't exactly get these two side by side on the table, but it does give me another reason to get out my MCU Vulture. So let me move this guy out the way, the classic comics, compared to the MCU counterpart, the Michael Keaton Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming, who, let's be honest, is going to be making another appearance in Morbius this year. Are the worlds connected movie-wise? We shall find out. But yeah, this is epic. And the Michael Keaton head sculpt is actually from Pin Particles on Instagram. So shout out to him. Honestly, this head sculpt really completes the figure. Pride and place in the display. Yeah, looking really nice. So I love how the MCU always give these classic designs a sort of modern upgrade in regards to how they get their powers, in this instance through technology that was stole from the Chitauri after New York's battle. So let's jump into some comparisons, and one of the figures on my shelves that stood out to me when I pulled out this Vulture was Mr. Nighthawk here, as he also has some wings, but his are actually molded onto the body, so they're definitely not going to fall off. So the Vulture's wingspan, obviously, if I fold out his arms, is definitely much bigger, but still, I thought it was a good opportunity to show off another Marvel character with wings, and this is a slept-on figure. This is a very nice Nighthawk figure. But let's, of course, see him next to the classic Pizza Spider-Man Peter Parker. And as I said, they basically share similar heights. I think the Vulture may be a tiny bit bigger. I can't get them standing by side because his wings are too big. And I must mention as well, during this review, these little parts have fell out virtually every minute. Every time I move this figure, these fall out. These are very loose, very frustrating. It's starting to bother me now. I might have to glue them in place. But has anybody got the Vulture with these small parts that plug into the shoulder? Are you having the same problem where literally these fall out as soon as you start moving the arm around? See? Pure example there. So yeah, that is very frustrating. So let me move these out the way while I actually compare him to some figures that we've already got in this wave. But first, of course, the classic Spider-Man. As I said, similar heights, virtually exact same height. But moving on to some figures from this wave, we have got the two Gamerverse Spider-Man. Again, looking very nice in figure form, standing with him. This one always struggles to stand a little bit, this armor version, but there they are, looking all right, I guess. Moving them out of the way. Got Shang-Chi. Again, another very sought after figure from this wave, I think. Sleeper hit of the wave. And then one of my favourites, probably not yours, but White Rabbit. Again, you can't see her on the white background. I do apologise. And before we finish up here, I should mention that throughout this review, these have been falling out and I've been moving them around. So even though they do have a left and right on there, they will fit on either side, just depending on where you want the actual sculpting and paint detail to show. So this time they're on the outside of his arm rather than the inside, but you can swap them around if you wanted to. I do think this way I've got it right now is the proper way, and throughout this whole review I've been doing it the other way. So again, learning as I go along, people. I genuinely don't open these until I do my reviews, but yeah, I think it works better that way. So let's get him posed up. So there you have it. Probably not the best flight stand to show him off, but it still shows you the illusion of him flying. So you guys can definitely get him in better poses than me, but still, it looks good nevertheless. And this guy is definitely going to be hovering above my rogue gallery of Spider-Man villains in my collection, as a Vulture should be, as he's looking very, very nice. So you let me know in the comments below, are you a fan of this Vulture? Are you happy that Hasbro did give us an updated sort of old school Vulture for our classic Sinister Six? Let me know in the comments below, as always, and let me know which version you get. Did you get the running change like me, or did you get the original where the actual pegs for the wings are in his shoulder joints? I'm curious to know which versions are better, but still, you can get it to work either way, I'm sure. But yeah, he's looking good. So as always, people, you know what to do. If you want to see all the other videos and figures that I've reviewed in this wave and all the other things I've been reviewing the last couple of years, go to the videos tab. But most importantly, if you like Marvel Legends, that's why you're here. So please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much. And as always, people, if you want to support the channel that little bit more, then you know where to go. Patreon, Dan Who Reviews. Thank you very much. And as always, I shall see you on the next one.